6, 2017.
I move that we accept the minutes of the regular meeting November 6th.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those? Number 3, financial reports for November of 2017. Any questions, comments?
I asked about those two, do I have to make a motion, I guess?
Not to make a question, I mean, not to ask.
Yeah.
I just asked about the
Actually, in
couple
theory,
of
you're right.
charges from,
Have to make a motion.
I'll discuss.
No, this is
yeah,
good.
I'd like to make a motion
A
to,
motion and second for,
accept the financial reports for November 17th.
I'll second.
Okay, Carl.
So what did you find out about
Well, I.
Boyle and Lowry LLP?
Yeah, and evidently, comes in a, well, I'll let Devin explain.
She had asked what the charges were, and I will go to them with some question about maybe something the EDC can or can't do, or something relative to the EDC. And,
Yeah, I can do that when you're talking about that for longer.
So that's a
Yeah.
law firm.
yes,
Yeah.
That's a
the
city,
city's
city's
law
a
firm.
law firm.
I probably am responsible for all of it, most of it or all of it.
Probably closed on.
Okay.
Okay. There she is.
Okay, I've only been here all day.
But we rarely let the Robert Rules of Order.
Okay. Well, Cody's here, we might ought to be straight. Appreciate the invite to your deal Sunday. Did we,
We didn't vote on
We
it.
hadn't voted yet on the financial, but we have motion and second.
all those in favor of the?
Aye.
Okay, number 4, non-action items. Mr. Cox will provide an update on the status of the new business development by Bob Hawkins. Next item. I just, last time I talked to Bob was last Thursday afternoon, and it appears that there are 2 more players in this, one being Chris Spencer. Now, this is from Bob Hawkins. Chris Spencer and Mr. Munez.
Mr. Who?
Munez, he owns the shopping center. He owns the shopping center, and apparently, as I understand it, Mr. Munez has figured out that he wants a piece of the pie. And he is basically partnered or partnering with Chris Spencer. And Bob is kind of trying to work his way through it. My gut feeling is it's dead.
Is that over the projects that they were, that Bob was presenting? Or
Well,
they're
it's,
gonna come
no,
up with
it's
something new?
strictly from the fact that apparently Bob gave all of his research and projections, and now the other 2 feel like that they were cut of it, especially Mr. Munez. That's where it stands right now. Bob told me that he had all of the funding together, ready to go. Not the last time I talked to him, but next to the last time I talked to him, he told me he'd been down there 4 times since I took him around with the oil company guy. He had all of his funding in place from private investors, and then all this other stuff started. So I really don't know.
Small town politics.
Agree.
Yeah.
What was the saying in World War II? Loose lips sink ships?
Yeah.
I believe that's what happened.
Yeah.
But Mr. Munez apparently is a pretty smart cookie. Either he got a hold of some information or he did his own investigation, and we understand that he wants a piece of the pie. So that's an update on that. Any questions on 4-1? Comments?
So is dead, or is it stalled, or what's
Felipe, I don't think it's dead, but it has suffered a major setback. I think.
It's an intensive care.
Depends on what, Mr. Hawkins and Mr. Munez have had some pretty stern conversations in the last week.
Now, to understand it correctly, Mr. Hawkins has investors to buy the property and do the work, and Mr. Nunez doesn't want to sell.
That's basically the gist of the conversation. Mr. Hawkins had the money appropriated to go ahead and buy the shopping center, be in control of it, and do what he wanted to.
Right.
And now it's kind of hit a roadblock. I tried to call Bob this afternoon, and he never returned my call. I also tried Thursday, Friday, Monday, and today to call that oil company, McCraw Oil Company, that he brought in here, that was going to put the fuel stop in, and they have not returned my call. So I don't know. I think that's dead.
What about Love's?
Turn us down.
Turn us down, okay. I haven't heard.
Any other comments on 4-1? 4-2, Mr. Cox will provide an update on the pursuit of grants. We are scheduled to have a joint meeting in January with the City Council on January the 8th. Purpose of the meeting is to discuss goals for 2018 so that everybody's on the same page. I have invited Ash Lime, recommended Vicki Williamson from the Architects Council of Governments. I have visited with her a couple of times on the phone. She will be at the January the 8th meeting. January the 8th meeting.
And what does Vicky do?
She works for the Architects Council of Governments for procurement of grants for municipalities. That is her sole function. This lady's sharp. I'm very impressed with what she has told me. Just to make it easy for everybody to understand, her comments to me, the money's out there, you gotta go get it.
That's right. I've heard that for 30 years. It's always out there.
And what she wants to talk to us about is, I'm sure she'll have some kind of a presentation about the Architects Council of Governments, but she wants to know what we want. She's asked that the police chief attend and the fire chief, so she can kind of measure what's going on. Her comments is, tell me what you want, and we'll go get the money.
What was that document that we did? Was it an emergency management document? I thought they went through and they were,
Yeah, it was a gentleman from AtCog and their emergency management, I think. They were kind of doing a survey of what was needed.
what was needed, yeah. We probably, just for foolish consistency, ought to at least know what was on there, so that if we want to go in slightly different directions, we don't look like fools for not knowing and just changing our mind every 3 months on what's the most important thing.
Any questions or comments about 4-2? Anyway, she'll be here January the 8th. And I know Rudy's probably got a scheduling problem on that, but this is the only night in January that she could be here. And it just happened to fall where we had scheduled a joint meeting with the council. 4-4, Mr. Cox will provide information on another lead for a washateria. I have a gentleman that works for me at the country club. His name's Casey Johnston, and he's interested in doing the washateria. He will need some EDC help. And he is prepared to present a business plan to us in January. I'm not so sure I want to hold him off to February, but because we've got so much going on that night. But he is very interested in it. He has outsourced his washers, dryers, everything that you need in a washateria. But he will need some help from the board.
If this doesn't go through, he may not be interested, and I really want to back my mind sometime with Mark Foster might be able to put one in there. I always got one in Naperville, And he might be afraid it might cut into him up there, but on the other hand, he could pretty well have the whole middle, south end of the county wash their business, and he certainly got the financial ability to put
Let me
one
just put
in.
it to you like this.
Okay,
Bob Hawkins, and I'm not gonna, he asked me not to give the numbers out, but the projections that he's got on the washateria for Lone Star is staggering.
what do you mean, projects the customers, you mean?
Based on the, based on homeowners versus renters in Lone
Oh, yeah.
Star,
Oh, yeah.
and most renters don't have washer dryers.
That's right, I mean, I think it's a good business.
What really attracted Bob Hawkins to the adding the washateria is you've got a chicken restaurant, you got a convenience store, you got a liquor store, and you can get happy doing your laundry.
That's right.
I mean, but his projections are staggering.
I used to joke that I wish they'd put a planer down, you know, by the liquor store and the post office, so I could go do my banking, pick the post, go to the post
We
office.
could meet another day and get this out. I don't know that we want to bring it in front of a joint meeting and all the other stuff.
Casey.
Yeah.
He is prepared to present a business plan, the beginnings of a good business plan in January. We could always do him first, and I'll tell him as soon as he's through, you know, probably needs to leave, or we can put him off till February. But he's proved good ways down the road putting a plan together. He wants to do it. But again, I want to emphasize.
I'd be willing to make another meeting.
Well, we can do that. That's.
Do a special meeting, yeah.
Yeah.
This washateria is a win-win, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, if he don't do it, I've thought about doing it. But it's, the numbers are just absolutely off the chart. So how do we go about scheduling another meeting? He'll be ready after the first of the year. Or do we want to do him, first?
I'd like a special meeting, I'm not sure.
You're gonna do the 8th, and I don't know, I don't have a calendar in front of me.
Yes, you do.
Eighth is a Monday.
8th is a Monday. January the 8th is a Monday.
January the 8th is a Monday, so January the 1st is a Monday also.
Let's
It's
do
a
it.
holiday.
Let's do it.
So,
I won't be here.
2, 3, 4 is probably not a good day to have it, so
I
I would
think you'd have it after the meeting.
have it
what I
after the
think.
meeting, you
Yeah.
know.
Well,
Either
let's
the
back
15th,
up
which is
this,
another Monday.
let's back up this,
Yeah.
let me put this in. I don't think we need to jump the gun with the secondary until I get a final, no, I'm not gonna do it from
Right.
Bob.
I think
Or
so,
give
too.
Bob a deadline that
Right.
words out, we have another individual that's interested in putting in a
Exactly.
washateria. I don't think we need to pull the rug out from
No,
Bob
I think
Hawkins
you're
and lose
right.
it off.
That makes sense.
I
Yeah.
agree.
That
So,
makes sense.
Normally, Bob calls me back, and I've left him a couple of messages.
And that's only fair to him.
Sure it is.
I mean, that's.
And we gave him a commitment, and I thought, we don't need to pull the rug out from under Bob and lose it all.
Right. This
So
is
let's
good business.
just play it easy. Let's wait. I'll put Casey off until February.
I think that's smart.
Mhm.
Okay.
Said this first year, we got a lot of things that were in the works, whatever.
5-1, any other comments on 4-4? 5-1, review, discussion, possible action by the board to discuss the articles of incorporation. Long story short, I'm still waiting on an attorney. He's been in court on a case, and he is behind.
I talked to ours.
Oh, you did?
Yep.
Well, I talked to mine and trying to get some guidance on it. And what did yours say? Is that part of that $480?
No.
Oh! You need to learn how to you need to learn how to bundle.
Really?
Go.
When, y'all asked me about the Articles of Incorporation, when I came on, I think it was only about a year after the EDC was reestablished. It was told that there were Articles of Incorporation, but they'd never been sent to the Secretary of State. So I checked with our attorney about what we need to do, and he said that the state law a number of years ago, I don't know how many years ago that is, did away with the creation and filing of articles of incorporation. In its place, there's now called a certificate of formation, which is filed with the Secretary of State. He said the drafting of a certificate of formation will take some time. He's got to do a little more research on it. He said what we can do for now is basically ask the board to authorize him to proceed with the creation and take the necessary steps to create or prepare the certificate of formation and move forward with that.
In the certificate of formation, then, does that describe what we can and can't do, basically, as a board?
I don't know, he's looking into this, I don't think he's had to venture into the certificate of formation thing before.
Kind of guidelines to go by.
Basically, that's what.
I think it may just be a reincarnation of articles of incorporation.
We need to make a motion that we have Devin tell our attorney to press ahead.
I think that's very prudent. I'm calling for a motion to authorize Devin to proceed with the lawyer about,
He said,
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
before we do that? Do we, and this is far-fetched, do we have an estimated cost for what it would be?
I asked, I was like, I need a
Like a
guesstimate.
generality?
Yes, and that's what I asked for, and give me a frame, and he said a very rough guess is gonna be $5,000 to $7,000.
That's about right.
For the articles of incorporation?
It's
$5
a
is
certificate
more.
of formation.
Okay.
It's a new,
$5.
yeah, I think because
More than
it's a
that.
different
well,
process.
my attorney basically said the same thing about having to go back and research
That's the
because
issue.
it's very, it's not used a whole lot, but it's a necessary and it requires some research. That's basically what he told me. So so what do we want to do? Open for discussion?
Do we really have a choice?
We don't have a choice.
Exactly.
Wait a minute, we do have a choice. Can we find an attorney that's already experienced in this?
We charge it the same
They're
thing,
gonna
that's
charge
the
you.
research. The research is the area. I don't think the drafting of the document itself and getting it ready to go to the state and do all that, that's probably a standard procedure any lawyer knows. It's the research that's
So,
going on.
but if we find somebody that's already done the research,
Maybe the finance, here.
Guys, I think, again,
As a city attorney,
He's professional in the municipalities anyway.
Right.
That's all they do.
That's all
Yeah,
he
I
gets.
don't think we need to, if the motion would include consultation with the council, mayor and the council over this, I think the council needs to be aware of what's going on.
Yes.
Yeah,
Before we, so the motion would need to state pending consultation with the council.
well, it goes to them anyway.
Yeah, it
I
does.
mean, they're gonna.
Well, they'll have to
approve it or not
approve
they'll
it.
do the final stamp.
But I don't
on it.
think we just need to authorize Devin to start talking to an
No, it
attorney
has to be
until we
approved by
have
council
that
anyway.
Well,
checked.
that's, everything we do is pending with
Yeah.
council's approval, so.
We have no choice if we're gonna continue to
Right.
do business.
But
We've got to.
typically with certain professionals, such as we have like a city engineering firm, we've got actually two city lawyers, one who does our municipal work and one who does our criminal.
Was
He's
there,
the prosecution for the municipal court.
was there any discussion in your conversation with the city attorneys about the liability that maybe the board would have if we continue to do business without being legal?
The issue of this being done so late is one he's looking into about what they could run into.
I'd hate for them to ask for all that money back.
Do what?
I would hate for them to ask for all that money
Back, yeah, that we haven't done.
We've been collecting $6,000 a month.
But we are absolutely sure, we are absolutely 100% sure that there or no bylaws laying around somewhere that we're executing.
I would say roof's wonderful.
You didn't do it. What you done?
I guess we need a go ahead.
I think it should be done post haste.
Yes.
Got the motion.
What does your motion state?
Instruct Devin to press ahead with that, pending, of course, the council's approval of the expenditure.
So you're wanting to,
I'll second it.
hang on a minute. You're wanting to proceed with authorizing the city attorneys to start the research into bylaw or this certificate of formation. And it's pending our visit with the council.
What's the cost gonna be for lawyers, though? They gotta do research sometimes.
She
They
said
charge-
$5,000 to $7,000.
Yeah, so like I say,
Formation.
If we don't act on this, we have no choice. We got to do it.
I think we should do it.
So, we have, restate your motion there, please, sir.
Okay, if we direct our secretary, also the city secretary, to, upon approval of the expenditure by the city council, to pursue getting us a certificate of formation to be filed with the Secretary of State.
And I'll second that.
All those? Okay, so be it. 5-2, review, discussion, and possible action by the board concerning possible future projects for the Economic Development Corporation. Anybody got anything to say?
We just need to keep our momentum going
Um,
as much as we can. See if we can get this fire under Bob Hawkins and
well, I think we need to certainly, we missed out on the land down here, but I think we need to have our eyes maybe peeled for land for perhaps, what do y'all think about the future? Because we do need a fire department.
Well, we've talked
Considered all
about that.
We've talked about that.
That's what we were gonna
That's what I
do.
thought we don't need to, I mean, we've kind of lost the land we wanted, but we still need to pursue that, I think.
Well, that land's still for sale.
Sir?
That land is still for sale,
Oh, it is?
but it's almost double the price.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought he was gonna put a shop there.
No, well, he's putting the flea market, but the
Oh, okay.
land is for sale.
is that what it's gonna turn into as a flea market? Can we do some city ordinances about that?
Probably after the fact now.
He'll have the
Probably
flea,
yes
he'll
in the
have
moment.
he'll have the flea market.
I know, but I
going
mean,
on.
it's really, he's starting to make it look really bad.
If we have any other discussions about land acquisition, we should do them in a closed session. And that way.
This deal got out on the street.
Yeah.
I'll take part of the responsibility, but I was working with Hawkins and showing it to him and so on and so on. And it got out on the street, and the gentleman, I will not call his name, but he called the owner and he bought it right there, boom, done. And now it's almost double the price.
It looks
And
terrible.
you just wait till he gets all that stuff he's putting in there. It looked like a junkyard.
It's awful.
Okay.
We're fixing to do something about that.
Any other comment? I would like to charge each individual board member to really put some thought into what you want to accomplish in 2018, so that when we meet with the board or the council on the 8th, that we have some definite possibilities for projects. I know that Cody's agreement with the council is coming up for consideration here very shortly. And I don't know how that's going to come down. But on behalf of the Economic Development Board, here is my thoughts, and I'm going to bring this up in the January meeting. The Economic Development Board bought that property with their money. And we have no say-so in what happens to it. And I'm going to be right in the middle of that discussion, I hope, because if Cody doesn't get his extension and they decide to go ahead and auction it off, I want the money back in the board.
That's all-
City
I would think that would be appropriate.
That's always better.
And I don't even know, Cody, when's it coming up?
The email I got said December 31st, so that would, I guess, in the January meeting
Okay.
is when it would be discussed.
Of course, I'm not privy to any of that information, but if they don't extend it and the city decides to auction it off, if it sells, I want the money back in EDC.
So let's you pay for it.
Otherwise, we're kind of transferring money from the EDC into the general budget,
We
which,
still pay for it.
which we're not supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be taking the money that we receive from that specific tax and doing a specific function. And if we buy something, the city turns around and sells it and puts the money in the general account, then they're sort of circumventing the purpose of that
Let
tax.
me ask you something. In the course of the EDC getting involved with anything financially, for example, if they were to go in and buy land for the potential fire department or anything else, that they can't own anything, it's all under the city of Lone Star's name, the EDC itself can't. Or let's say, for example, and maybe not so much that, because that is for a city department, but let's say they go in and buy, or loan money, okay, which, you know, some EDCs do that for a new business like this gentleman we're talking about that was possible potential. The interest in all that stuff goes to the city, or because of the monies that is taken out of EDC, shouldn't the EDC receive the
Yeah,
benefits of that?
The EDC, at least in my opinion, should, you know, if they make a loan, then they should receive back the proceeds from the loan.
The principal
If
and
they
the
buy a,
interest.
you know, a parcel of land
Okay.
and develop that piece of land, and then they want to sell that, that money should go back into the EDC.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
And I mean, I would, in my former position, on the city council, I would have said the same thing. That's a stream of money that's there for a specific
I was just curious
purpose.
as why the school got into the city's name instead of the economic development, since they're the
Well,
one, so there wouldn't been any
that's-
change of dollars, you know,
That's a
going from.
pretty small thing, because we're a part of the city.
Right, I understand that.
You know, we're just a department, like the police department or public works. So, you know, this building, it's the fire department building, but the city owns it.
Well, I personally think if they grant Cody an extension and he's successful in doing what he wants to do under the terms that you requested, then I think the city owes the EDC $40,000. That's my opinion on it. At some point.
Well, if we take that point that she was making just a little further, if we buy some land and the fire department builds that, we're giving that to the city, right? We're not
Well-
asking the city to give us back the money for the land.
Ms. Secretary, you correct me if I'm wrong now, but as I understand it, the EDC is mandated that they can only participate in projects that create jobs or creates business.
Correct.
They can't go in the business of buying, selling land and giving it to people.
Right.
Unless it's gonna create jobs, and that's the sad story or the true story about it. Am I wrong?
I think you're right.
I didn't hear you.
A little bit on that.
You're correct.
I just wanted you to say that.
We're not in the land speculation business
No.
of trying to make money by buying and selling land.
My purpose of contacting Pete Perkins about buying that piece of property was for future expansion. And I had no intentions of presenting it as the EDC buying it. I was hoping that the city would go out and buy that for future expansion. It's just like, let's say that we find 100 acres around here close. And we develop that into an industrial park. Okay, that that process right there is allowed because we are buying a piece of property and possibly developing it to a certain extent for the future development of jobs. Now, we can do that, but as far as going down here and buying this piece of property from this gentleman
No.
and then gonna build a fire department or a police department or whatever, we can't, I don't think we can do that. No. So, the overall picture is, as I see it for Lone Star. It's, I can't, and I've said this again, I've said it before, I'm gonna say it again. I can't go out here and get a guy in a three-piece suit to come in here and sit in a fold-out chair with fold-down tables and expect this guy to come in here and spend millions of dollars and put 50 people to work. It's not gonna happen. He's gonna stand up, say thank you for your time, he's gonna go to Mount Pleasant or Longview to their industrial park. I mean, they don't meet in a fire station.
Not as nasty as it was when we came in here this morning.
Ooh, she was hot. Anyway, it's about perception.
I mean, yesterday,
That's
not
why I'm
this
so
morning.
passionate
It was
about,
yesterday.
I'm wanting the city to be able to move down to the bank where if I hit something and I bring a guy in here and he walks in here in a three-piece suit, he's sitting in a nice building and the way he perceives it, well, these people they got their stuff together.
What is the status on that? Is the city, is that a dead issue about moving to the bank?
We,
It's on the December agenda.
Do what?
It's on the December agenda to be.
so if you'd like to
still
come
be
to the
considered.
council meeting, you'll,
Part of the 200 or $480 that I spent on behalf of the board was trying to find out if there was any way that the EDC could help the city make that transition.
Okay.
And it can't happen. The
we
EDC
can't even pay rent.
We can't even pay the rent. We can't do anything because it
You mean
doesn't go back to the
the EDC,
mandate of providing, the possibility of providing jobs.
Even if we had an office there, we can't pay rent.
So we'll see how that goes.
I just hadn't heard anything on it from well, I knew it hadn't happened, so I just didn't know what the.
We've had some unexpected expenses.
Good.
But we meet January the 8th, the council, and the purpose is to look at where we want to try to go in 2018. So put your brain together and sleep on it. If you've got it, you've got an idea on that. I'm talking about substantive issues. Carl, you and I, we've agreed that we're going to go see U.S. Steel.
Yeah.
And I'm working on that appointment right now. Now, I understand I learned today that U.S. Steel is going to really, really tighten the screws in. So we may have a long road to hoe. But you never know till you ask. As I told a couple guys after the lunch today, I was given a tour of the Pittsburgh school about 3 weeks ago. They have a new football stadium that's been completely renovated, and they've got a real nice facility. They're fixing to probably build some additional classrooms, but that football stadium, as I understand it, was very little money come out of the school district. It was all given by industries over there, namely Pilgrim, JBS Pilgrim. But that's the partnership that we need to try to develop with U.S. Steel. They're all we got. And I think that they have a obligation to step up to the bar for Lone Star, as well as Hugh Springs. But I'm not worried about Hugh Springs. I'm worried about Lone Star. I'm not worried about Dangerfield. So Carl and I, even if we have to go to Pittsburgh, east.
Yeah.
What about Lone Star Beer? Would we want a partnership with them?
What about them?
Could we approach it the same way?
They don't, I don't know, Felipe, you'd have to elaborate on that a little bit. What presence do they have around here other than selling some beer to the sweepstake places?
Well, we have a name, Lone Star, that
I know a little bit about the company, if I could tell you real quick.
Do what?
It was owned by Pabst Blue Ribbon, which was the last largest American-owned brewery.
Uh-huh.
It was bought out by the Russians a couple years later, or a Russian-American company.
Trump had something to do with that, I know he did.
But
Yeah.
But,
But,
yeah, they already have Lone Star in their name, and they don't need us either.
Can we hear him?
But just one other thing, they didn't actually make any beer in the country for
Yeah.
years. Miller, which is owned by the British or the whoever, brews all their beer for them.
Yeah.
So they don't actually have a brewery currently. They used to have one in San Antonio.
And they have one in Longview too.
Yeah.
No, that was Schlitz.
Schlitz.
Stroh's.
The Lone Star itself, he's right, that they hadn't made their beer in years, so closed down San Antonio Brewery, what, 20 years
They used to
ago?
have the
was-
museum.
The other,
down there.
the other place we should check is with Scott Industries.
Is what, Carl?
Scott Industries.
Oh, y'all check with
Not
that.
necessarily gonna give us any money, but he may be able to point us to some other people who might be interested. Network.
Carl, I'm in total agreement with you, and I will go anywhere in the world to try to sell Lone Star. I'll get on a plane, go anywhere you want to go. But the big boy that we need to corral is right out there.
Mhm.
And just as a side note, my son told me today that they had a real good year. And of course, I knew they did. But if he gets everything that he has won on the bid process and so on, his 2018 is going to just blow 2017 out of the water.
That's right.
It's still a really mount up line pipe project.
I wish, you know, of course, we said, I don't want to waste anybody's time, but I wish we could, look at one of the chain restaurants. We don't have a whole lot of restaurants here. I mean, you know, there's Sonics around us, may not get Sonic food here,
Well-
but I'm thinking about a Taco Bell or something, you know, there's not anything up here close.
I've already reported about Sonic. They really appreciated the fact that I contacted them, and I got a call back 2 days after I sent them the filled out the questionnaire. The only reason we don't get a Sonic is there's one in Dansville, one in Hughes Springs,
That's what I'm saying.
one in Ore City,
Yeah.
2 in Mount Pleasant, and they think the area is saturated.
Yeah.
They looked at the highway infrastructure, how they run, and the only way we can get a Sonic is if we get a truck stop, and they will very seriously look at putting a Sonic inside that truck stop facility. Okay? I have a inquiry to Dairy Queen.
You know, one Dairy Queen, they just filed bankruptcy.
No, Dairy Queen Company itself didn't. One of their largest franchise guys did, but it wasn't Dairy Queen.
That's a lot better than what it is.
Right now, Rudy, I'll take
Oh, I
a
understand.
Taco Hut or
I have-
whatever it
I have-
is.
but Just a little bit off base, but I want to ask a question. Do we have a list somewhere of all the available properties, business properties in this town, and the sizes, and what they're zoned for? Do we have a list of that somewhere?
Go talk to Sadar and Earl Alexander.
Well, I mean, this is my thought process is, everywhere you look at, and I'm not advocating spending a bunch of money, but everywhere you look at has some kind of website where their Economic Development Commission has a place on there where if somebody's interested in business, they can click on there and it tells them the available properties, the size of those properties, tells them what they're zoned for and everything. We don't have that.
zoning.
Why not?
It's a good question.
Why not?
Yeah, that's something to look at.
I mean, that's my only process is, how do you sell it if you don't know what you have to sell?
If you don't have it packaged.
What
And
I've
you're
run
saying-
into since I've been on this board
Sure.
is that the landowners here do not want to participate, they do not want to sell. If they do, the price is astronomical.
They
Well,
think their properties are worth
They
$1
think very
billion.
highly of their property.
That's evident by what you just stated earlier.
Yes.
They don't, well, it's just like Dangerfield, Texas, years and years ago, and this is a true story. Because I've asked one of the guys that made the trip. They found out that Walmart was interested right there where Brookshire's and McDonald is. Walmart was gonna put a store here.
A big store.
Yeah.
Well, back then it was big.
Mhm.
But there was a group of the businessmen in Dangerfield. One guy owned a hardware store, one guy owned a grocery store, one guy this, one guy that.
Right.
Jewelry store.
Mike Gilmore lived through it, and he knows it.
I was on the
They all got in the car and went to Bentonville, Arkansas and told,
No, they wouldn't see us.
huh?
They wouldn't see us.
I heard he did. And
No, Bill Thorne and all, mayor and all, we tried to get an appointment, go up there, they wouldn't even finish the appointment.
Anyway, they didn't put it in Dangerfield, they put it in Mount Pleasant.
We had a guy, it started hitting the net there again, you know, the information, because I was on the council then, and we done everything they asked us to do. You know, it was to make it a blighted area, something about taxes and all, we did everything, so forth, utilities and all that. I didn't know it had happened. I didn't even know. All of a sudden, I heard from a guy at Walmart one day, and he said something about, says, well, it ain't coming. I said, what do you mean? I'm on the council. I just want y'all to get started. He said, it's not coming. He said, y'all don't want it. I said, who the hell don't want it? And that's why he said, well, we got a letter. And finally found out all the business guys in town wrote it. And it killed me because I was managing Goodyear then. I had a guy come in a few days before that, and he said, where's the Walmart out here? I said, well, it hasn't been built yet. And he said, well, I'll be glad it does. And he lived over almost in Pittsburgh. And he said, it's a little close, 2-3 miles closer to come to Dangerfield than going to Mount Pleasant. So, I mean, it was going to pull people in, and it was dead, and they won't put nothing in there.
I have one more question about possible project. How come the pier at the city park hasn't been fixed? Where are we at with that?
Oh, you mean the new boat ramp?
Yeah, the boat ramp, I'm sorry. Where are we at with getting the new boat ramp done?
I don't know.
I thought we had a grant on that, didn't we?
There's a grant.
We do. We have a grant.
How long is it good for?
It's probably still
yeah,
good,
Yeah.
but it probably needs to get started soon.
No, it's my fault. It's one of the other 1,000 things I'm supposed to be working on. That and the USDA grant or the grant loan.
I visited with the mayor out front this after lunch, and that subject came up. An individual walked up to us, wondering why the boat ramp hadn't been done. Can the EDC hire an individual on a short-term basis to wade through the paperwork to get that done and whatever we need? Can we do that?
That's something we need to
It's
check.
another $200 bill.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't,
I think we did check the legality of that.
I mean, it's not something that
I
would
think we just
create
say,
a job.
we tell KSA, you know,
It's not KSA's doing, it's finishing up the, I gotta get back in touch with Parks and Wildlife and see what is the next step we need to get done. We need, next things to go to bid or what on that. I haven't looked at it a bit.
What is it that we can do to expedite it? What can we do to help you?
Get you some help?
Yeah.
I don't think that's something that y'all can do. It's like the bank situation. It's outside of your purview. Doesn't-
We mean with your
Bring it up.
paperwork and stuff. Is there anything we can do to help you with that?
If the money's still available, we need to finish the boat ramp.
Both projects.
One of the things that we've discussed at the chamber, take off this hat, put it back over here, is to have a bass tournament, a regular bass tournament that
they
will
have
generate
them
money.
in the summer. Well, they have them every Friday evening.
I've got a good friend that lives in Ore City, and when the sun comes up on Saturday and Sunday, he's in the lake, on the lake fishing.
Yeah.
And I asked him 20 minutes before I came here, if the Chamber of Commerce and Lone Star developed a bass tournament, an annual bass tournament, would it go? And he said, absolutely. So, but look, guys, the guy's got a $70,000 bass rig, and he's not gonna back it off into a hole.
The Friday night tournaments, they didn't fall off, they fell off from our side. They started putting in over at Jenkins.
I had a barge, and I backed it off in that thing, and when I loaded it up, I pulled the axle out of the trailer. I'm talking completely pulled them out. I had
Well, do we
back-
have a sign over there saying do not use?
I don't know.
No.
We might ought to put one over there.
When the
So, I mean,
water's up
somebody
high,
come up with some liability on our
it's
part.
not a big thing. If the water were to get much lower, a couple of feet lower, then it would become an issue again.
Okay, just thought I'd bring that up because I've been asked a couple of times here the last couple of weeks has the boat ramp been fixed? Anybody got anything else?
Yeah, I'd like to say a few things and probably disagree with me, but I think since I've been on this, we've kicked a lot of big projects around, but, I think, kinda like being born, we gotta crawl before we can walk, and I think this issue we just talked to was good, but, that's just like, we've got some work we could do in that park, and once a walking trail, I know Carl, you have a dream of tying it in with Rocky Point and all that, that may be too big, let's just get a ring around the existing park down there, we can work on a walking trail there. I mean, if you look at the one in Dangerfield, it's used quite a bit, I know y'all keep sick hearing me say about Dangerfield, but the one in Dangerfield Park's not that big. We could do the same thing down here.
We could.
And then later, fix it later on where we could join it into Rocky Point if we did that. So I'm just saying, we're thinking big, we don't have the means for the big stuff. We've got to crawl and then walk, and then maybe we can run someday. Another thing we could do in the park is
Well,
perhaps.
Let me interrupt this.
Okay, go ahead.
We can't
Yeah.
do anything
I
in
was
the
gonna
park.
say, it's not a
No,
council issue.
park
I
stuff
mean,
is
that's hard to,
That's city.
we can't do any, unless it created some jobs down there.
You can do park work.
You can do
I
park
thought
work.
you could, but
You
I
can
didn't
do
know.
park work.
Okay.
All right, I probably brought it up. But another thing we might just kick this around, I've had some people call me, because I'm getting too old to do anything, but if we could, in the park somewhere, it's a beautiful place, it's just a place, it's kind of like National State Park, I never go out there, but every time I do, I say, why in the hell did I just come out there once or twice a year? But anyway, if we could build kind of like a pavilion, or like just a stage, a covered stage down there, in the summertime, we could have like music in the park.
Totally agree with you.
There's a bunch of musicians around here, and even if the musicians, if we could put a little concrete floor in front of the stage or something, we get this jockey, and maybe during the nice summer months, spring,
You got a
fall.
concession stand down there, it may need a little work.
Kurt
cleaned up.
Roundtree, I used to set up Kurt Roundtree down there for his fiddle contest, God bless him, he tried to get that going, and he just
I have
lost
people that are
support.
still interested in doing
And
it.
they are, I've had a lot of people talking about they miss Curtis's bluegrass place, so I mean, there's a lot of music lovers here.
One of our officers has talked about doing, like East Springs does, the movies. in
The
park.
movies, you could
Movies in
even
the park.
tie
Those are
that
the kind
in.
of things that Ash and Lime talked about.
Yeah, and that brings people together, it brings the citizens together, enjoy things together.
We've got, I
Listen
talked to
to
Larry
that.
Fleet, and he's already got some, what do they call them? The inmates or whatever.
Trustees.
Yeah.
Trustees.
Yeah,
He's gonna be able to get some more of those, and they are gonna start painting the park,
Okay.
the picnic tables and everything.
well, that'd be good.
And if we could probably buy the paint and whatever,
Yeah.
and start redoing that, but there's no swings down there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot to be done down there.
Yeah.
They're full of people,
That needs to be the stuff that you maybe present on the 8th.
okay.
I mean, I take my great grandson down there, and there's no swings.
Well, a little music down there would be great, I think. It would
What's the
draw
latest
people.
on your street lamps?
No, sidewalks.
Sidewalks, I'm sorry.
I think sidewalks is urban development, but from what I'm hearing is that, can we spend money on sidewalks?
No,
As urban development?
no, no. You can't spend that
Yeah, so,
You'd have to work on a grant, maybe this grant lady can help, that's something you can shoot toward this grant lady that's coming.
Yeah.
yeah, but I'd like to see some good wide sidewalks up and down that highway.
Anybody got anything else?
Well, I have a question, kind of a side issue, but who owns this old mobile station at Bridge Court?
Bruce Hall.
Bruce Hall.
Is Bruce still on?
Bruce Hall.
No, this
No,
is.
Bruce,
It's up for
I think,
sale.
sold it.
Oh, he did?
No.
Oh, that,
When he moved
some guy
out.
in Hugh Springs.
No,
No,
Bruce
he-
Hall still owns it.
Who? Bruce Hall?
Bruce Hall. RPM only leased it from him. There's nobody there. I talked to Bruce just the other day. It's still available, still for sale.
What's it want for?
62,000.
How much?
62,000.
It's gonna belong to Harold
Does
Johnson.
that include the cleanup the EPA is gonna charge you for the tanks and
No,
everything?
that's your baby when you buy it.
Because I'm sure there's issues there with those tanks.
Who owns the old Red Ball building up front in there? Who
What
did?
about,
Bunts.
Funds
Big
that-
one.
Up here by the, where this little clinic is at, you know, the buildings that are up there in front that face the highway?
Mr. Munoz.
Mr. Muniz, that owns the crop
God, no
shopping
wonder we
center.
can't do anything. We got a guy in Atlanta that won't, excuse my French.
Well, that's what we had in Dangsville, you know.
That's crazy.
That's what we had. We had
It's-
about 4 or 5
it's not
families
just
control
Mr.
everything.
Munoz,
And
it's-
they weren't for sale because they didn't want anybody to bigger.
Everybody
His
who
name's
has
on the
property
paper.
thinks that,
Every-
you know, it's gonna be worth $1 million if they just
That old
hold
Dairy
on.
Queen, the guy wants $100,000 for that.
The old Dairy Queen,
Cigar.
what's 100 grand for it?
That
It's hard
cigar?
location.
No, it's a.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Item number 6.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Item number
I
6.
thought we were
That's
through.
adjournment.
that's your.
I'll
Make a
second
motion
it,
to
I
adjourn.
second it.
All those, let's go on.
Uh,
It's been a long day. Don't forget January the 8th.
Yeah.
Everybody get some refreshing ideas and try to figure out where we want to go.
Your son.